so nothing as easy as it seems. I screwed up. And I realized this kind of plug is not gonna work here because I'm ready to smash the shit out of that drill. It is Friday morning. So the other day this stuff came down again, even with the duct tape attached to it. So the only thing I can think of, I was out here messing with it and I was trying to get a zip tie up around that black wire holding thing, the same thing that I had the zip ties around here. I could get it up past it, but then there's no way for me to then, basically grab it and turn it back around and come around on the other side on either of these. And that's the only way I'm thinking to be able to really get it to stay up there. I was also thinking of those kind of like big staples, but this area is so narrow, I don't think I'd be able to fit anything up there, whether I'm trying to use a hammer or I get to focus on something besides the wires right there. There we go. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to get anything up there, and I'd be trying to staple into some flimsy plastic thing, or into one of these sides, so there's no way to really get anything up in there. So the only thing I can think of is try to remove this carefully because there are lights attached to it. Same thing over here. So I'm going to try to carefully pop these out real quick before work here. That way, hopefully then I can basically reach up through here and maybe I'll get lucky and be able to grab that. Hopefully. I don't know honestly what's even up here. Let me see. Yeah, I think I should be good. So yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is the lights that are attached here, so I'm going to try to be careful and move slowly and see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and get the drill out and get this going, because I don't think it's actually raining right now, but the water is dripping off the van onto me while I'm standing here. So I'm going to go ahead and hopefully, like I said, get this taken care of and I can be done with this. And then tonight I'm picking up the fridge and other junk, so that way tomorrow on Saturday I can go ahead and get to work on all these wonderful cabinets over here. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to grab the drill and we'll see what happens. Hopefully I don't destroy these lights. Okay, so here's the first side. So I went ahead and took this off and then slowly, gently let this down, and this tape on the back of this must be pretty strong because it just kind of hung out there. Went ahead and got the zip tie just around the black thing by reaching through this cabinet, and then I just put the cords up there and just made it click one or two notches so it was locked in. Then I put this back up there so everything was back in place, and then I just slid this back as far as I could, the zip tie towards the corner, and then just tighten the crap out of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop off the excess there, and then I'm gonna just do the same thing over here. Yeah, only thing, this one's just a little bit different because it has this kind of loop here, because the wire goes down there and comes back to hook up there, but otherwise should be pretty much exactly the same. Alright, so I just put the screws back in this one, so this is what it looks like right now. I haven't tightened it up or anything, so I'm just going to tighten it, and then chop off the end like the other one, and then this should all be good to go. Okay, so nothing as easy as it seems. Tighten it up. Turns out I tightened up too much. This one popped out, so I pulled the crap out of it. Got it to finally connect. Then I figured, oh, there's some slack in these a little bit, so I was pulling on it to extend some of the wire over. Accidentally disconnected that from this, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to slide that back onto there. I might have to take this whole board back down again. Okay, almost done here, almost. Okay, so I took this back down, got this one connected, now this one came unconnected again, so I'm going to chop off that zip tie. It's too tight. Put another one there that's a little bit looser so this can actually reach down here and stay connected all the time. And I'm going to real quick go flick those switches on, make sure I have these connected the right way, they're not backwards, before I get everything screwed back in. Okay, so everything is back up there. hooked up, and at least from this angle anyway, it looks like those wires are finally basically out of the way. This one kind of hangs down there a little bit, but otherwise seems like it is all good. Everything's running, so it's all actually hooked up. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put this stuff away and get ready to go to work. Okay, it is Saturday morning. I went and picked up fridge this morning, and the propane tank came in the mail whatever other day. So I've just been kind of getting everything all set here. With that screw up on the bed measurement from way back when, this area is smaller than what I originally had mapped out over here. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is just make this one big thing, rather than having like a divider here. So that way I just test the 2x4 can fit there, 2x4 can fit there, so I can make the whole cabinet going around the whole thing. And then yeah, as far as the doors, I could just have like two, but there just won't be a middle piece separating the two. As far as the fridge, it's going to be blocked by the cabinet this side, the wall back there, and then the seat over here. So I'm just gonna, I don't want to drill into it because people online said that they did that and then screwed up the whole fridge. Not the specific one, but I don't know what's inside where, so I'm just going to start putting holes in it. So what I'm thinking is, I don't know if I still have any, but if I don't, I'm going to get some of that super strong 3M tape stuff that I used on the solar panels up there, and put some of that along with some kind of like, I don't know, something that basically hold it on here, and then I could just drill something into here, like a hinge or something like that. Yeah, so that's the game plan. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of map everything out, figure out the measurements of all the wood that I need, check online to see what they have, check my box of random junk, see if I have that tape anymore, and then go from there. Okay, so I'm just working on some of the measurements here. Basically I'm seeing if I go 20 inches out, that's more than enough to get both of these big things in here. Leaves me some extra room to work with, but also is more back than the bed, and basically lines up right with this part of the fridge, which is nice, so I can just grab it basically anywhere and open it. Doesn't stick out too far. So I'm going to go with 20 inches. Going across looks like it's about 30, but it's kind of tough to measure exactly because this is all open, so I'm kind of measuring from this corner. So somewhere in the neighborhood of 30, and then going up is 36 because that's where you know, I ended that wood and started that wood. So it's going to be 36. And I have the fridge plugged in, but I don't have anything on yet because I'm still going to be working with stuff in here and moving around, I'm sure. So yeah, and then so I had just have the measurements basically going on here, just telling me, you know, how much wood I need for the sides, going across the top, the front. The front is going to be a little bit different because it's, you know, doors. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and look online now and see what they have as far as stuff to potentially kind of anchor this top part on there, and I'm gonna have to check for that tape as well. Okay, so I basically made up a whole list of all the wood that I'm gonna need to get, the different sizes, brackets, hinges, all that kind of stuff. I'll also probably pick up some more screws of various sizes while I'm there because I don't even know what I have left, but I just don't feel like digging through that box, so I need to clean that out at some point. I do have that tape, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this, and I was trying to figure out what to use, and I wasn't getting a lot of good results searching on Lowe's. So basically what I think I'm gonna do is basically just get like a big bracket, or, you know, two of them, and the one side, you know, I can put the tape underneath, you know, probably a couple, I want to say slices, a couple strips of it, and then the other side I can go ahead and just, you know, put screws in, however many, you know, screws fit in there. I just need to make sure that the bracket's big enough to fit, you know, this gap, because this part is not right up against the wall since I have it up on here. I was going to have it sitting in this corner originally, which I did like, but then it cuts down, you know, a couple more inches there from the space over here. So I scooted it over, and it still has, you know, plenty of space right there. Yeah, it does have a little wobble to it. I think it's because the back part of it is, one of them must be on the those bolts there or something, but that's an easy fix. I can just get something underneath this front, you know, little peg thing sticking out there, so that's not a big deal. But yeah, I think that's really all I'm gonna need. It's just I don't need to really get 2x4s because I have this one and then that one that I haven't even touched. So that's 8 foot right there, plus this, and yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to drive with all this in here right now without it really being secure. I mean, it made it with while still in the box on the drive over here standing up. So hopefully it now makes it not in the box going back to Lowe's to pick up stuff. And then it'll be time to start cutting wood and putting brackets on and all that fun stuff. It's supposed to be raining like pretty much all day today. However, like it was cloudy before and now it's like nice and sunny. So I don't know what's happening weather-wise. Hopefully it stays nice. But if not, I'm still just gonna try to get as much done as I can. Because I don't want to be driving around like all week going to work with a fridge just possibly flipping over because there's nothing holding it in place. So yeah, so I guess I'll just, I mean, there's not really much to clean up. So I'm just going to go ahead and move some stuff around and go ahead and get back to Lowe's again for the second time today already. I thought about doing all this at Lowe's in the parking lot. That way I could just load up on wood like while I was there. But I didn't want to look like a weirdo. Also, I would have made a huge mess all over the parking lot with all this stuff. So I'm glad I didn't do that. Probably going to go ahead and take these tables back down so I can load the wood in here though. So I'm going to take care of that. And then I will be back with the video when I am here with all the fun stuff. Alright, so here we are with all that wood. And then I got the hinges and all that stuff in that bag back there. So I'm going to go ahead and I already got the saw out and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and just start chopping the it's going to be about 3 foot high, each of those post things, whatever the hell you want to call them, for the cabinet. But for the piece that's going on top, I'm going to have to make sure that it's a little, those posts are a little bit shorter, because I want it to be able to sit basically going underneath that. Mostly because I would be okay with it sitting up here, but because this is in the way here, I don't want, you know, to have that going and then I just have to cut around this or something. I'd rather just go underneath, kind of be even. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and just start chopping up the 2x4s and start putting stuff together. Okay, I screwed up. So I got one. It's not actually like, you know, bolted in there or anything yet, but just one in there. And then this is the leftover bit of that. That's like 2 feet, so that's not long enough for anything. For some reason I thought I could get 3 out of this, but it's 8 feet long and I need 3 foot pieces, so I can only get 2 out of this. So I'm only going to have a total of 3. So I guess I'm going to dig through this wood over here. I really don't expect to find any more 2x4s that are going to be long enough for this. So I think I have to drive back to Lowe's for the 3rd time today already. I'm not excited about it, especially considering the fridge is not at all held down right now, and I don't want to put the stuff on top of it to hold in place until I get the cabinets done, so I can move it out of the way and get everything hooked up over here and then put it back in place. I just feel so stupid. I should have picked up another 2x4. Yeah, I don't see anything over here as far as 2x4s, just a bunch of other random crap. If I had a way of sticking that to the leftover bits of that, I would have something long enough, but fortunately that is not possible. So, yeah, I guess I am going back because I'm not going to try to screw those 2 together and make it work. That's going to end up like collapsing. So, I guess I have to go back out. I really want to actually get some stuff done before I go back to Lowe's again for the 3rd time today, but I can't really do anything until I have those 4 posts, so I mean, I could cut the other ones out just for the hell of it, and then at least that's done, but then I'm going back to Lowe's again. Okay, so here are the 4 posts. Finally got them all. I think I'm done with Lowe's for the day, hopefully. So I'm going to go ahead and I guess start putting the brackets on. Although this side, I feel like I should put on the side piece thing before I end up completely, you know, locking them down with a bracket, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. This side will be easier. I can do the brackets and then just move the fridge and do everything else on the side. So yeah, I'm just going to start measuring shit, make sure it's actually lined up, and work on getting some brackets on there. Once I have all the brackets on, then I'll take this top piece and put it on top and make sure it's all flat, or at least pretty close anyway. And then decide if I need to chop anything off, either to even it out or to make everything just lower in general if it's too high back there. And then yeah, if I need to trim them, I can do that. Put everything back and hopefully then put the top on and have this area just about almost done, other than like the doors and all that fun stuff. Alright, so I'm gonna grab the tape measure and start figuring shit out. Okay, so got them all kind of just loosely screwed in there, and it looks like I need to take basically like 3/4 of an inch off of everything, because that's 3/4 of an inch thick, and this goes like right up to it, and it's actually standing, goes right up to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take one off at a time so I don't mix them up, and chop off the top of it, bring them back in here, get them all in there, tighten them up all the way then, and then we'll see how well that piece fits on top, if I need to even anything out or whatever. Alright, so let's see what happens. Okay, so this one is the first one that I trimmed down. So I tighten up this. I do want to put brackets on both sides of these, although that one, there's no way to do that because that post is right there on the other side of it. This one, I can do it. It's going to be a little bit tricky. So I think what I'm going to do is I might pop this back off, put the bracket onto the wood, put it back in place here, get this on, and then clear all this junk off here, and try to get in to screw the screws on the other side here on the floor part, coming from there. That way it'll be more secure. But before I do all that, I think I'm going to make sure that everything lays flat on the top, so that way if I need to trim anything else off of any of these, I don't have to go back underneath here, take everything apart. It'll just be easier, so I'll just work on the one bracket for now for everything. Okay, so these are all trimmed up. Alright, these are all trimmed up here. This is the wood that's going to be going on top. I haven't cut it yet, so when I hold it up there, it ends up just bumping into these hooks over here. But just from looking at it, it seems like it kind of fits. So I guess I'm just going to measure to double check, make sure everything's right. Go ahead and cut it, and then we'll see if it fits for sure then. And then after that, then I can start working on the other brackets, side pieces, all that, get the top back on. And then it'll just be the doors and doing any staining and all that. So far I've been lucky with the weather. It is getting cloudier and darker out there, but hopefully it stays rain free for long enough to get some of the stuff done here. Okay, so I'm gonna have to trim off some stuff back here so it can get basically lined up, going all the way across, and then I think I'm also gonna have to trim off some stuff up on this zone so that way it gets up against the fridge better here, so there's not that gap. Otherwise I think it's looking pretty good so far. I left like an inch overhang here. I originally had this line made up, but then I added an inch to it so that way it kind of hangs out over it, and that way the doors aren't like sticking out from everything. It'll actually be the countertop that sticks furthest out. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do some markings with some pencil, figure out what needs to be cut here, and then trim it up, and hopefully then everything will line up and it'll all fit in there. I might end up trimming some off over here. I left a little bit extra everywhere in case I had to do some trimming. I didn't want to cut it too closely. So I'll see what that's like once it's actually fitting better in that corner. And kind of just sitting here, is that going to be like jabbing someone in the arm, or is that okay? So I'll figure that out. Yeah, but otherwise going good so far, I guess. Okay, so I'm still working on this. Been taking a while, but I really want to make it fit nicely and not look like total crap. So I've been cutting down this edge, so this is like where the fridge is. and then there's still that gap over here, so I've been trimming down everything over here to slowly get that to line up better. This seems to be all good. Haven't had to do anything with this for a while. I've just been focusing on this side. So the whole back seems to line up really nicely now. It's just getting this whole area to match up better. Okay, so I've been going around and adding the second bracket. So I got this one on. What I did, I took this off, added the bracket on the back of this, then put it back on here, added these screws, and went inside and added the screw in there. And now I did basically the same thing over here. I scooted this fridge out of the way a little bit, took it off, added the bracket on the back, put it back, got these screws in, and then did that. Just going to do the same thing over there. That one, like I said, there's no way I can add another bracket to the back of that. So it's just going to be how it is. And then, yeah, once I do that one, I think I will go ahead and just add the top on. And then I'm going to have to get this fridge out of the way and add the sides onto here and here. And then once I have the sides on, I'm not really going to bother staining this side, I guess, or doing anything, because nobody's ever going to see it. It's going to be up against the fridge, so I'll get the fridge back in place and I can work on getting those bracket anchor things, whatever the hell you want to call it, on there. So that'll be all good and secure, and then I can work on, just getting the door on, or at some point I guess I could do whatever the hell kind of staining. I might just do some sealant on the top part, just that way if it gets wet, working with food or whatever up there, it'll protect it. But I like the, the natural wood. Where the hell is it? I like that look of it, so I'm not going to stain it or paint it or anything like that. So yes, that's game plan. Just going to tackle that one and then do all that up the rest of it. Okay, so I just got the fridge back over there, put this back up. I don't know if you can hear any of this. Okay, so got this up here, got the fridge back in place, and looks pretty good over there. Good along the back. And here, I didn't even do anything over here, and it lines up like dead on accurate with where these posts are, or whatever the hell you want to call them. So yeah, I'm happy with everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and figure out how I'm gonna know where to screw in here to have the screws in, each of the corners for the boards there. And then, yeah, that whole section is done as far as, the top of it. Other than, like I said, at some point doing that sealant on it to, protect it from water and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna get those screws in there, and then I'm gonna have to clear all this stuff out of the way, and get this fridge over here somewhere so I can get that board on over here. Not like it's really super important to have the board on this side. Nobody's really ever gonna see it. I don't think really it's gonna do anything, because the fridge is right here, so nothing's gonna like go out of it. But now I'm thinking, do I even want to bother putting on a board here? I'm gonna have to think about that. Anyway, first I'm gonna deal with this thing, and then I'm definitely gonna put a board over here. Definitely gonna have the doors, obviously. I don't know if I'm gonna do a board over here or not. I'm gonna think about that. Okay, so this is all screwed on there. Feels pretty sturdy right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working on this piece. For this piece, I'm really just gonna go from here up. I'm not gonna bother trying to really do anything down here. I figure that way then this fan can have more airflow being pulled in, even when the doors are closed. And also then I don't have to deal with, like, otherwise I would have had to basically measure out how far over this stuff needed to be to fit a piece in there. Right now it's like just right up against it. So I'm just gonna slap a piece on here. Obviously, gotta make sure it fits and everything. But get it all cut out, put it on there, and that'll be all set. I'm just using this super thin, like less than a 1/4 inch piece that I've been using for, like the sides of the cabinets up there, or this one here, that one. I think I'll also use it on the door pieces too. It sounds like the rain is picking up out there. It was drizzling before. It's definitely raining now. I can't really feel a whole lot. I feel a couple drops, but I can see it's coming down. So, luckily I got that little overhang there, so I can try to get a little bit more work done here, hopefully. I do need to close up these windows, so I'm gonna stop filming. Next project is this right here. Okay, so I closed up those windows, got this most of the way closed. I scooted the fridge over the last little bit to line up here, and then I put the ladder right here. I feel like it's a good spot for it. I can always, move the seat forward or back to get it in or out. Then I was like, you know what, screw it, let me plug it in and see what happens. And I realized this kind of plug is not gonna work here. I don't know why. This plug is just terrible design here. It's really, you have to have the whole bottom area wide open to be able to plug something in. And I don't, because there's a table right here, or counter, whatever the fuck it is. So, yeah, I am going to have to, I guess, get some kind of like extension that I can plug like straight in or from the side or something like that, because this is not going to work unless I put a hole in the middle of the freaking countertop so I can run this up through it and plug it in, but I'm not doing that. I'm not putting a giant hole in here just to plug something in. So yeah, I would like to plug it in, kind of test it out and let it run. It's pouring right now, so I think I might go ahead and quick run inside, see what kind of extension cords are in there. Just even to test it out, even if it's not the one that I'm going to use forever and ever, just something to plug it in and have it turn on and make sure it doesn't instantly destroy the battery, hopefully. Everything I looked online said it should be fine, but who the hell knows. So yeah, I'm sure you can hear that rain. It is just out of nowhere, just coming down like crazy. So I'm gonna run inside and try to run back out here and do a little test on it. Okay, so I ran inside, crazy rain. Picked this up. I was like, oh, this will fit right in there, no problem. This doesn't have 3 prongs. This is only 2 prongs and everything. So I'm going to run back inside again, look for yet another extension that hopefully I can plug into there and finally actually test the fridge to make sure everything works. Okay, so I couldn't find anything, and then I remembered, oh, the salt out there almost getting rained on is like barely under that cover, and there's an extension cord. So I was like, you know what, obviously I'm not going to actually use this permanently in here because that's just huge and obnoxious, but at least just to plug it in and see what happens, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to put this phone down, try to not get all the water and mud that's probably on that wire everywhere, and we'll plug it in and see what happens. Okay, so I plugged in and flipped the little switch, so it's powered. I pulled this up, it was originally 75, then it went to 74, now it went back to 75. So it doesn't seem to be having any major effect on anything. Not like when I plugged in the heater that one time to test it, and it just instantly started beeping and going crazy, the inverter and everything. But this so far seems to be having, actually the battery just keeps going up and up and up for some reason, even though it's like completely cloudy outside and raining. So that's a good sign, I guess. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it. There it goes up again. So I'm gonna keep monitoring this, make sure that's actually like working. And getting cold. Obviously, right now I'm not gonna feel any difference in temperature that quickly. So it actually sounds like the rain kind of lit up for a second here. So I'm gonna check the weather, see what's going on. If it's just like drizzling, I can go ahead and work on the the side piece and stuff like that. But if it's downpouring, it's just gonna be too crazy trying to have the saw out there getting wet and the wood getting wet and stuff. But if it's just a drizzle, I can pretty quickly get the wood in between the van and under that cover. But when it's downpouring, there's just everything's gonna end up getting soaked. The inside of the pan's gonna get soaked all along here with the door open. So yeah, so the only thing I did notice is that when I clicked that on, I plugged it in and then I clicked it on, the lights dimmed. Actually, I just noticed that the top lights are out entirely for some reason. I don't know why. So I'm gonna have to look into that. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now everything seems brighter again, and the lights aren't out. I might have to check that wire again, make sure the positive wire didn't fall off or some stupid shit again. Yeah, it's just weird how it happened exactly when I clicked that. It was like, it dimmed the lights. So I thought it dimmed lights, but apparently it just turned out the top lights entirely. So it's at 71% now, so it did go down some, but I mean, still, there it goes up again, so 73. So I'm just gonna keep monitoring it. I'll keep checking, the temperature in there. I'll turn off the music, I guess, and listen to see if I can hear it running. But otherwise, so far, everything seems to be working good. So I'm gonna, I guess, just work on trying to clean up in here a little bit, even though it's raining. Try to get some this garbage out of here, because it's just, I mean, the floor is just covered with everything right now. So I need some room to actually be able to walk around in here. Yeah, so I guess just depending on what's happening with the rain tonight and for the rest of the day, we'll see how much more I can get done. Okay, so I was just doing a little bit of cleaning up, not too much, but I got that stuff in there, some of the garbage out of the way. So the fridge seems to be a little bit tougher to open, which is a good thing, because freezer kind of just real easy. So I haven't heard anything opening while I'm driving, you know, back and forth to Lowe's a million times today, but I don't know, once there's stuff in there, things will move and it'll pop open. So I'm going to look into if there are, I mean, I know there are, because I remember when I was looking into how to get this to stay locked in place, people were talking about also locking the doors. So I'm going to look into what exactly those are, where you can get them, just to be sure. Like I said, this one down here feels really good. It really stays in place. This one, you know, it doesn't just open with no effort, but you put a little bit, but not too much. This one, I don't know if it's because it's just a bigger door or heavier because there's like stuff on the side of it, but it seems to really stay on there a little bit better. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those lock things on there. I also picked up some, they're kind of like coat hangers. So I figured I'll put like one over here and one on that side. Although that side I'm not going to put up yet, because actually I'm going to do the water stuff here, the sink, and then I'm going to do some type of a closet. I don't know how big it's going to be, but it's going to be somewhere up there going down, so I can put like my suits and shit like that. Most stuff I'm okay with folding, but like suits and things like that I don't want to. So I'll have that there, and then I'll put the coat hanger thing on the side of that closet then. Just to hang, you know, jacket or, you know, backpack, whatever the hell I want to put up there, because there's really nothing over here, so might as well, I figure, put something up there. So I'm going to do that stuff while I wait to see exactly what's happening with the weather. It's definitely died down compared to what it was, but there definitely is still rain coming down, and it's still real dark and cloudy, so it could start back up any second. So like I said, I'm just going to work on this inside stuff and see what happens. Okay, so this is what I went with for the holding the fridge in place idea. Some people might say it's kind of overkill. They had ones there that were labeled as 4 inches. These are 6 apparently. I don't know if they're measuring from here to here or the whole length. I don't know. I didn't measure it to figure it out, but they didn't have any 4-inch ones there that I could find, so I just went with the 6. I was hoping to find something black. I feel like that would look a little bit better because the top of the fridge is black, and then just, I don't know, the black against the white as opposed to just this like intense steel hardware kind of thing, but that's what they had, so I figure whatever, it's better than nothing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the sticky stuff here. I'm just gonna put it all over the bottom sides of these, and then basically just try to carefully line up this over there, and get this stuck on there. And once that's stuck on there, I can go ahead and just pop those, you know, drill the holes in there, add some screws, and boom, that'll be all secure then. I mean, if this stuff is considered good enough to hold solar panels, not that I'm relying on this for the solar panels, I also use the screws, but some people do use this, only this, to hold solar panels on top of the roof while they're driving. Then I'm sure it's got to be good enough to just hold a fridge in place. I mean, the fridge is already doing good staying in place without anything at all, so I'm sure it's going to be totally fine. Okay, so this is what I got going on so far. So I took that tape, I did one strip going all the way down, then just trimmed the edges, and then did another piece just going down to kind of fill in the other chunk of it there, and trimmed off that side. So that's what it looks like from the other side. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and peel it and slap it on there, so that way I can get this screwed into place. Actually, I'll probably just cover this one at the same time. Just do that. That way all that will be done, and I won't have to worry about the tape anymore. Okay, so those are all on there. This thing is like super secure right now. I was just tugging on the whole thing, and I mean, it just shakes the whole van. It doesn't actually move the fridge at all. So yeah, I think that came out good. So I'm gonna go ahead and chuck up one of those little hanger things up there, get that taken care of. And so far, haven't really gotten any more rain. Just kind of just a couple raindrops here and there. Might even just be stuff coming out of the trees and stuff. So I might actually be able to get a little bit more done over there before I wrap it up at some point today. I don't even know what time it is, honestly. So yeah, I'm gonna put that up there, and then probably gonna go ahead and cut up one of those thin boards to chuck on the side. And I think I will probably be saving the doors for tomorrow because it's been quite a project today. 3 trips to Lowe's and all that. So we'll see how far I get here. Okay, so this is what I got. Looked metal at the store, but I think it was just like plastic. I don't know, but should be hopefully strong enough to hold up some basic shit. So yeah, I'm gonna just put it up here. Basically just keeping it in line with where that 2x4 is, so that way all the weight is, you know, on that and not on just this thin piece of wood here. Yeah, and it just came with screws. So it was a 2-pack, which was nice because I wanted 2 of them anyway. But they packaged the screws together, so I'm gonna try to keep track of where this and these 2 screws are for when I eventually use the other one. Yeah, so I'm just gonna put it in 2 holes and put it right up there. That's it. Okay, so just update here. So I checked before and dropped down to like 67, I think it was, and now it's back up to like where it was before, 78. So everything seems to be going good there. Put that down. I don't know if it'll pick it up on here, but you can actually hear it. And actually, wow, this feels really cold already. It's only been plugged in for like, what, not even half an hour or something? That's awesome. Fridge is a little bit less, but I mean, it's a fridge compared to the freezer, so I'm not super surprised there. But I mean, I can hear the stuff running, but it's not like obnoxiously loud. Like once I close this, I can barely hear anything at all. So it's not like it's gonna be like driving me crazy when I'm in here trying to sleep or anything. So yes, that seems to be running really well, even on a cloudy day. It seems to be holding power just fine. And that was the biggest thing I was kind of worried about power-wise was the fridge, because I mean the lights are just little LED lights. They don't really do a whole lot. USB charging, not a big deal. You know, just charge my phone like once a day or whatever. But the fridge itself was kind of like the biggest thing that I knew was going to be like constantly plugged in, and you don't really have much of an option but to run it, otherwise your food goes bad. So yeah, so it's going good. That's all up there, feels nice and secure. The little either, you know, elephant or octopus hanger, whatever you want to call it. I was looking at like an octopus because these are 2 eyes here, but that's just me. So that looks all good. So I think I am actually, it's actually earlier than I thought. I think just because it's so dark, it seemed way later. So I think I'm actually going to take a little break, eat some food, and then hopefully it still will be, you know, not downpouring. Come back out here and I might be able to try to get a little bit more done, although I don't know what I'm going to do about the fridge, because if I need to cut any wood, I'm going to need to use the extension cord there. So I don't know. But I'm going to take a break because it was just a crazy project moving this fridge all around and getting all this crap in here and everything, going back to Lowe's 3 times today. Just too much. So I don't know. And then once I eat, I'll figure out what the hell I'm doing next. Because if I do want to cut, I'm either going to have to just unplug the fridge and let it basically slowly lose all the cold air that I just made, or I guess go run out and look for another plug, which I'm not especially looking forward to because, like I said, I've been to Lowe's 3 times today so far. So I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do next. I'm just kind of rambling now, but I definitely need a break after all that. So that's what I'm doing. Alright, it is Sunday. So I'm going to go ahead and it was originally supposed to rain like all day today, but I think it's actually going to be pretty much clear like all day now. Other than maybe sometime in the afternoon, a little bit of rain, it was saying. So I'm going to go ahead and start on that side bit over there. And then I want to, because there's so much space up here, rather than just having it be empty space for nothing, I'm going to put in some type of a shelf here. I haven't fully planned out how I'm doing that because I just kind of thought of it a little bit ago. So possibly another Lowe's run to pick up little, you know, like bracket thingies to hold up a piece of wood. So I'll measure and kind of figure out how tall I want it to be. Like, I don't want it to be, you know, right dead on top of this, because then it'll be harder to get this stuff out of here, especially the propane, getting that in and out when it's like full and stuff. So you know, a little bit of space for it to make it easier. Yeah, and then that'll be nice to have a zone where I can keep, you know, like the stove thingy or the heater that hooks up to the propane. Might as well just keep it under here, and some toiletry kind of stuff there. Yeah, so make it into actual usable space instead of just, you know, air. Yeah, so I'm going to start off with that side bit there though, and then I'll do some measuring, plan that out, figure out what I'm going to be using exactly for that shelf, and then, yeah, and then probably making a Lowe's run, and then I'll do the doors. I think for the doors I'm going to have to do the hinges on the inside. I'll have to take a look at them, see exactly how big they are. They are pretty skinny, but I don't know if they're really going to work that well putting them on just the this edge of the 2x4. So it might just be easier to put them on have it on the inside and the inside of the door and kind of open that way. And then I might also need to add something up here to make it so the door stops. I just realized, because I don't really have anything there. I don't really want to put anything on the floor, just so that way it's easier to get these big things out of here, especially the propane, because it can be heavy. So I'd rather have it kind of open where I can, once I open those doors, I can kind of just slide it in there if I need to. But I should put something along the top, so that way the door can actually close on something, and I can put like a magnet on there like I did for the stuff up there. So I should have something like a 2x4 or something that I can put on there, and that'll be easy. I'll basically just measure it. I just realized that this fridge is now unmovable, basically. I mean, I could move it if I unscrewed all those and then just move it and put it back. It would be kind of a pain in the ass. But I was thinking for that piece right here, I could just screw in there and screw in there, but that's a little bit blocked now. So I'm going to have to figure that out. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to start with that. Well, maybe I won't start with the side thing, because then if I start with the side, that's going to be blocked up from me working on this maybe. So basically just going to start measuring stuff and planning it out and trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing today, and then we'll get to work. Okay, so I got that piece cut. I have one screw in it on this side coming in, one of these 2.5 inches, so it gets in there pretty good. I was thinking about having the screw go up, you know, over here and over here, and that would be enough to hold it. However, I think that just barely the edge of it would end up poking through the wood. I found scrap of this piece and the other piece of this 2x4, and I stuck them together outside and then held up the screw, and it looks like it would end up having just a bit poke through. So I don't want to leave the screw partially unscrewed and like hanging down, and I certainly don't want the screw poking up through the countertop. So I think the best option at this point, because the next size down I have is 1.5, and that's not enough to get all the way through and even hit this. It's too short. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is unscrew those and slide this whole thing out, put in a screw over there, and then put everything back and screw that back on there. Yeah, I'm just trying to think if while I have that fridge out, if I want to put that a side piece over here, I might as well just do it then, but I'm still not sure if I'm even going to bother, because there's, like I said, there's really no point. The fridge covers up that whole side anyway, so it's just added wood in the way, and it's going to make the fridge have to move over more, which will screw up the holes I have up there, so I'm not going to bother with that yet. So yeah, time to unscrew all that, move the fridge, and put in one screw over there, and move everything back. Okay, so I moved everything, got that screwed in there, got all those screws back hooked up. Luckily the fridge is pretty light, so it's not terrible trying to deal with. Just, you know, a little nerve-wracking because everything's lined up all good to go, and like move it, it's like, am I gonna get it back in the same spot? But it seems like everything's all lined up here and everything lined up there, so I guess it's all good, hopefully. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that measurement for this piece that's gonna go over here, get that taken care of, and then I can throw these doors on, well, you know, cut them, put them on with pinches and everything. Actually, before I do the doors, I'll do that side piece, and then before I get these doors that are going to be kind of somewhat in the way, I'll figure out what I'm doing as far as the little shelf in there. Okay, so this is all in here. I ended up doing the whole cut around everything, including the countertop here, just because everything was flush. I didn't want to just end it where the countertop ended, and then basically this side piece would just kind of stick out and the countertop would be in. So I decided to just go along the whole edge. Yeah, and I ended up using those crappy screws, leftover ones from the hinges that I couldn't use because they were a tiny bit too long. So it was a little bit of a pain getting them in there, but figure I might as well use them for something. So feels really secure, seems to all line up nicely, so that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and figure out what I'm doing down here for that shelf, and then probably make a Lowe's run. I'm gonna need more of these 1/2-inch screws because the wood I'm using for the doors is the same kind of wood that I use for those, so I know I'm gonna need those 1/2-inch ones to use, so the ones that come with it don't stick through the wood. So I'll need to pick up more 1/2-inch screws as well as whatever I'm going to be using to make the shelf down here. Okay, so I did some quick measurements down here. I don't know the exact height of this because it's kind of awkward to measure because the highest point is like in the middle here and then it goes out. But it's something around 20 inches, maybe like 18, 19 inches, something around there. So I figured if I make a mark here for 24 inches, you can see the height difference there. That should give me more than enough space to be able to easily get this in and out of here without it being a major ordeal. So I made that mark there as well as over here, and then I think it leaves me something close to 10 inches in between this point, so not actually the actual countertop, but this point to where that mark is. So I'm thinking I am going to go ahead and just get 4 kind of like brackets, basically probably something similar to this really. I don't need anything crazy fancy like the you know, like shelving sometimes has that's like ornate looking, whatever. It's going to be inside the cabinet, so it doesn't need to look spectacular. And basically just put them there, 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 and there, and take a piece of wood. Wood's going to be a little bit of a pain to cut because it's going to have to go here and then out, so nothing will fall off the edge. So it's going to have to go around there, come back out, and then, you know, go across straight, and then same thing over here. It's going to have to go in to go along the fridge here, come back out, go along there, and straight along the back. So it'll be a little bit of a pain trying to get that in there, but I don't want to have it just be, you know, a rectangle and have shit falling down off the sides or something. So yeah, so I'm gonna make up my list. I think I just need the screws and the brackets, but I definitely want to make sure that's all that I need. I'm gonna figure out exactly what kind of wood I want to use. I don't know, I haven't actually used any of this wood yet so far. These are ones for the doors, but these ones that I was planning on using for like the sides, I have left over, so I just use that. And then this side I'm not using anything, so I'm not really worried about that. So I might end up using this, but I'll take it out there and kind of test how flexible it is. I don't plan on putting anything super crazy heavy on top of here, but at the same time I don't want it to be like bending down instantly because it is a decent length in between here. So I'm gonna do some tests, figure out what wood I'm using, and then it'll be time to go to Lowe's and pick up whatever I need, come back, get this shelf in, get the doors in, and then I might as well go ahead and do the sealant and staining, all that stuff was done. And then if I have time after all that fun stuff, I might go ahead and start this zone, planning out everything. So yeah, okay, back from Lowe's. So while I was there, got another piece of wood. I just got the same wood that I'm planning on using for the doors. That's what I use for the bottom of those, so I feel like it's going to be secure enough. This one, I extended this out close to the measurement of what it would be in there. It's actually even a little bit shorter, so, and it has some give there. I don't know how well that picks up on video, but it would actually be even a little bit, couple inches longer than that compared to where those bars are. So I was just like, I think that's a little bit too thin, so I didn't want to go with that. Just picked up that wood, the brackets, some more of those little screws, and then I got these two. So this is basically how the water setup's going to be. They have the measurements online on the actual website itself, and I feel like they're bigger than that because I measured it out on here. It seemed like it should have taken up less room, but it still fits here, so everything's fine. So basically I'll have my clean water with that will run up, to the sink, and then the dirty water coming out of the sink and go and run into here. Obviously this is full right now, so it's not going to happen. Also, there's no sink here. So yeah, so the sink will just be over top of this, and then that way I can have doors on the front and the back, so I can access it either way, so it'll make it easier for getting the water out of here when I need to get rid of the dirty water, get more clean water. And then above, so the sink's going to be over in this zone, and then over here I'm going to have basically like the closet kind of thing that I was talking about. I think I mentioned in the video at some point. That will basically, that way I can hang up the few things I actually like kind of need to hang up instead of just folding up and stuffing in the drawers. Yeah, so that's the game plan. I just picked those up so that way whenever I get done with this, whether it's today or whenever, this is already ready to go. I can just work on the measurements, figure out what I need, and then go get everything. So I'm not making like 5 trips to Lowe's in a day like I did this weekend. So that way it's all there. I just need to figure out measurements, figure out exactly what I need, go get it, and then boom, I can start rather than picking this up, bring it back here, measuring everything, going back to Lowe's, all that. Yeah, so the next project right now is getting that wood cut out into that weird shape to fit under there with the brackets. Once that's under there, then I can go ahead and hook up the hinges and the doors, cut out the doors, get all that hooked up. And then all that's going to be really left over here is putting on the magnets on the thing for the little doors, but also just doing the sealant up here and then the stain on all the other stuff, and then just letting it all dry, and that'll be done. And then depending on how long that takes, I don't know how long it's going to take to get that piece cut out for the shelf. It's probably going to be a pain in the ass, but hopefully I can get it done in a reasonable amount of time, and I can start working on measuring this out and figuring everything out for that. So at least it's measured out, if not even started a little bit maybe. I don't know. We'll see how much time I have today. And I also would like to put some sealant on the top of the tables at some point. Hopefully today as well, while I have the sealant out for this stuff too. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just get started and see how far we get here. Okay, so here's what I got so far. So I just took measurements inside, cut out a piece that was 29 by 19, and then I took a 2x4 that I left over out there and just put it in each corner and traced around it and cut out. It's pretty close already, but as you can see it's not quite fitting. Something has to be adjusted here, so I'm going to keep kind of messing with it, get as close as I can to fitting in here flat, and then figure out what needs to be trimmed off. I'm thinking like maybe like this edge over here has to be trimmed down. And yeah, so we'll see what happens here. Okay, so this is how far we got so far after quite a few different cuts. Definitely getting closer, but it's still not quite fitting. So I think I need to trim a little bit off here. I think a little bit back here where it's touching the fridge. Maybe a little bit more on this edge here, and on this edge back here. Maybe even some along this edge. But little by little it's getting there. Okay, so just random update. It's definitely getting a lot closer here. So you can see that's the mark where I basically want it to be at. It's not level, but it is getting a lot closer. So I'm going to do some more trimming. I think in this area needs it. I'll just look around, maybe some on that side too. hopefully soon it will actually be good, and then I can start working with the brackets and figure out how the hell I'm actually getting this in here. Okay, so it's able to fit in here, so I'm going to go ahead and get those brackets and figure out how I'm hooking this up. Hopefully it can kind of hold itself up there without falling down. We'll see what happens. So what I've gone with is I put in these two kind of opposing corners. As you see, I didn't like fully tighten them or anything yet. My plan is to get the board in on top of these. It obviously won't be totally stable because it's just these two corners, but that'll at least let me get everything screwed into here then, as long as everything is like flat, and then it'll be easier to get the other two in. All I did was I just measured up 24 inches on all of them, but I don't know where there's Mark. So yeah, so I'm hoping that as long as it can lay flat going across these two, and I can tighten it all in there, then I can just go ahead and get under there and put that one in, put this one in, and it'll be all secure then and good, and actually be hopefully somewhat flat and not angled weird, but we will find out. Okay, so the top one of these boards must be like slightly leaning over one side because it's too tight up here to get this middle part in. So the only real way to approach it, there's some kind of freaking bee in here or something. Get the hell out of here. What the fuck? Anyway, so I think I'm going to have to take that one off. At least the screw holes are all there, so it'll be easier to get back on hopefully. And just have it on here, and then, yeah, just basically see what happens from there. So I'm going to take those screws out, get that bracket out of the way, get this up into position, and then get that bracket back on there. Okay, so that is back on there. Still not like totally tightly screwed in or anything. That was probably the most uncomfortable position I think I've had to be in the whole time that I built this fan, because it's only not, what, like 2 feet high or whatever. So yeah, I was really squished on there trying to get the drill in, and yeah. But anyway, that's on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I guess start working on the other two brackets, and then I can work on putting all the screws then going up into the board, and then just tightening everything. Okay, so I got this almost all set here, and I realized that the first one that I put on, I actually put on the wrong way. So I want this longer side to be here supporting this, and the shorter side just connected to this, which is what I did on all the rest. And what I was planning on doing, somehow the first one I just wasn't paying attention, so I'm going to have to take these screws out, flip it around, put in new screws, new holes I mean, and then get it back on there. And then I can go ahead and start doing all the screws going up into it and tightening everything, and this shelf will be basically done. Although now that I'm looking at it, it does look like it kind of sticks out a tiny bit here, so I don't know if that's gonna fuck with the door. Probably will, which means at some point I'm going to have to take this back all off. Well, not the brackets, but take the wood off, trim that, put it back on here. So yeah, I'm going to first flip this around, get that taken care of, and then I might, before I even bother putting the screws in there, I might as well just see how much I need to trim off here to make that flat, take care of that, and then put it in here and screw everything in. Okay, so I flipped that one around. I made some marks on where I want to basically trace from side to side to then cut, and I realize I'm not going to be able to get this back in here. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this out of here like this. But I'm going to try to get it out of here, and then I'm going to take all these brackets back down, then get the wood in there, or at least all but one, I guess. Maybe I can get away with having like 2 on the same side on still, and then put them all back up. This piece of wood is turning into quite the project. Alright, I'm going to try to get this out of here without removing any brackets, but at some point I have to remove them anyway, so we'll see where I get. Okay, so I trimmed it and I got it back in here. I am taking a break because I'm ready to smash the shit out of that drill, because it won't even put the goddamn screw into a hole that I put a fucking hole in. So I'm pissed off. So before I smash the shit out of that drill, I'm going to take a break and come back out here and finish this. Okay, so I'm back out here. I got everything all tightened up. I put in some screws going to the top, so that's all in there now. So now I have to work on the doors. I was trying to figure out how I'm going to do this when I was inside thinking about it, because I realized I kind of somewhat screwed up. It would have been better if this was recessed in a little bit, and that way the door would have basically gone in, you know, next to this, and then would have hit against this when it was closed. But now I can't do that. So I'm gonna just experiment with some stuff with the hinges. I might have the hinge basically go on the outside here and then go on the inside of the door and just kind of open that way. That way it goes flat against this when it's closed. Yeah, because otherwise I'm moving the fridge again, taking this all back out, cutting that down, putting it all back, which I really don't feel like doing. So yeah, so I'm gonna experiment with that. I'm hoping that being up against this is good enough. If it seems too kind of wobbly, even with like the magnets and stuff like that, I might end up putting like a block down here wherever it would be, with magnets, and that way when it closes it hits against, you know, all this wood plus, you know, linking up with the magnet, and then also hits against that wood and the magnet down there. So that's the game plan. So I'm gonna get some of this junk back where it belongs, so it's out of the way, and start messing with the door. Okay, so I cut out these two. For the most part they look good, but I'm guessing there must be some kind of issue where this doesn't line up with this, because I have this issue. So this is pushed up all the way against there, all the way against there. This is pushed up all along it, and it's lined up here, but as it gets closer to the bottom, I'm guessing this post either must be leaning that way or this one must be leaning forward, so it's lined up at like the top, but at the bottom it's just not. If I push it in like that to make it line up, then this sticks out like that. So I don't know what I can really do about that at this point. Yeah, I don't know. Trying to push on it to get that to line up better, but yeah, nothing's really changing there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I guess just maybe I fixed it. Nope, did not. Thought I did, but all I did was just move it in and then move that back out. Yeah, so I'll mess with it a little bit, but I don't see that getting fixed at all. So I will go ahead and probably just end up hooking up the hinges the way that it is, and then I'm gonna end up doing kind of like the cutouts that I got up there, just, you know, somewhere on here. I don't know where I want to put them yet, but somewhere on each side, and that way I can open it up. Yeah, so that's it really with the door. I'm just gonna, you know, do the hinges, do the little cutouts, and then I guess it'll be time to start doing all the sealant, stain, fun stuff. This has just been shit show today, I feel like, between this stupid ass board and now these doors. I've got this on here easy enough, and now I'm trying to get it hooked on here, and the door just keeps moving, and then this keeps moving. I can't get anywhere, and then I realized that when this is closed, the end of this, because I have to use these shorter ones, then they have this around the top, it's going to end up hitting this, and it's not going to work right. So now I need to move this down. I need to figure out how the hell I'm getting this hinge on the door. Maybe I'll move this down, figure out where it's going to go, get the holes in there, then take it back, well, put it on here somewhere lower, get the door up close to it, kind of make marks on it, take the hinge off, put it on the door where the marks are, then put it back on here. Maybe that'll be easier. But trying to put the hinge on here like this is just impossible. It's just, everything just keeps moving, and I can't, as far as I got that hole, that's it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just move this so I don't have to deal with that issue, and then figure it out from there. Okay, door number one is on here. I'm definitely gonna have to do a little bit of trimming off like the edge here, and then also a little bit up along the top, making it a little bit easier to open and close and such. And then also just cleaning up this stupid stuff at the bottom. Okay, so but before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and get this one on. I'm doing the same pain in the ass stuff. Once I have that one on, then I will go ahead and measure out where I'm putting the kind of handle situation. That way I can take them both off, do all the cuts I have to do as far as top, bottom, cleaning up the edges, doing that cut for the handle thing on both of them, get them back on here, and everything should be good then. And I should be done dealing with this stupid door hinge junk. Okay, so this one's all on there. Somehow when I was putting it on, the first top hinge here, everything must have shifted over and now they don't even line up properly. So I'm gonna go ahead and have to trim along here, I know. I don't know if I need to really take anything off the top on this one. It seems like it's okay. To me, it's mostly just the bottom that's getting stuck. And also gonna have to take off some in this corner because it bumps into that bracket there. I'm gonna have to figure out how much I'm taking off from the middle spot here. And let's do the stuff on the top and bottom for this one. So I don't think I can actually right away measure out the handles because these don't even line up in the middle right now. So I'm gonna have to fix everything else first, and then once I have these actually line up and close properly, then I can do the door handle things. Okay, so after a million cuts, I got that one all good, and then I went ahead and did this one. So now they fit there. I haven't done any sanding to it yet, as you can probably tell. I'm debating if I even want to take it out there and sand it, or if I just want to bring like sandpaper in here and just go around all the edges and shit, because I'm just so over dealing with these hinges and crap. Yeah, so ends up getting pretty close with that being lined up, but still definitely hangs out there kind of weird. There is one little spot here that still could get trimmed, so maybe I'll mark that, take it out and trim it, and then I'll do the sanding out there just to make it look nice and not be lazy with the sandpaper. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and mark that spot. I think that's the very last spot that I need to do, from what I can tell. Okay, almost done with these doors. Okay, so I went and cut off that random spot wherever it was on here, and then did all the sanding going all around. Screwed it back in exactly how it was before, and now it won't shut. Now this top part, which fit perfectly fine before, now no longer shuts. So rather than, I don't know if it's like, I don't know what is going on with it, but it definitely, there's no way it's in the same position it was before. Yeah, I don't know. So the only thing I can think of is I'll just cut this one, since I still have to do the sanding on that one, because I don't feel like cutting this and re-sanding it again. So I'll try to figure out where exactly it needs to be cut there, and then go ahead and take that off, cut it, sand it, get in here. Hopefully everything actually fits when I put it back, and then I will finally be able to do the sealant and stain stuff. Okay, these are finally completely in there. They actually fit. They open, they close, not falling off the hinges or anything. So that's done. I think I am going to take a quick break and then come back out here and deal with the sealant, stain, all that fun stuff. I am just beat from dealing with these stupid ass doors and the shelf today with the brackets and everything. Definitely was hoping this stuff would go smoother and go faster today, but it is what it is. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick break, let the phone here charge up so I can actually film shit later, and then I'll come back out and deal with the wonderful next step of getting all this stained up. Okay, so back out here. So I'm gonna get the painter's tape out, tape off everything so I don't end up getting stain all over the new fridge. I'm not super worried about the floor because the floor is already stained the exact same color I'm going to be staining it, but maybe I will just throw a little bit down there anyway. Probably not going to bother taping off the hinges because I didn't do that up here. I just kind of wiped them off if they got anything on there. And this side, stupid sticker is still on here. I don't get why they put stickers like that on wood. But it's just on there, but there's also been other ones that remained on the wood. I don't remember. You used to be able to see it on the ceiling, but I can't actually find it now, so I don't know if it's just been too long and I don't know where it is now, if it's covered up by the cabinets up here, but there's definitely a couple stickers that are somewhat visible, but whatever. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I guess I will, do I want to do the sealant first? I think I might do the stain first. That way I can tape off all of this, like the edges all along here, even like underneath, all along the edge, everywhere. Do all the staining, take that tape off, and then just go over with the sealant, because the sealant is just clear, so I'm not worried about taping off over the the wet stain to block anything. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. I will end up doing some tape over in this zone. This is the plug I found, by the way, last night during my 4th trip to Lowe's yesterday. Actually like it a lot. It definitely, it's kind of bulky and it's just up here, this wire. So I kind of wish there was like a different way of doing it. I don't know, the only other thing I could think of would be like, since I don't want to have a hole like way out here, I could do like a hole back there and have it come up and go around. I'm not totally against that idea, but I don't know if I'm going to deal with that right this second. Let me see. Then I would have that wire get some here somewhere. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about that right this second. I don't know. Maybe I will, because then at that point, then I can always just pop this off because the screws are all up top. Go make that cut, put it back in here, run the wire, and do the sealant. I'm gonna mess with this wire real quick now that I've started thinking about it. I can't stop, but I want to see how I would get that wire through there, because right now I'm not seeing any clear opening for that to get under here in the first place. And if I can't get that under here, I'm not taking this whole damn thing apart, moving the fridge, everything else just to do that. I will just live with the wire being on top of the table, whatever the fuck this was, countertop. I'll just live with that, because I am not seeing anywhere that wire is going to get through here, especially the end of the wire. The wire itself might be able to squeeze through here. Probably not even really. That's pretty tight right there. Do I want to move the fridge? Because I could move it and then just slide it right through here, have it just go up. I can trace out where I want the hole to be, do that, and then just drop this piece basically down in there, connect it, and that would all be out of the way. Then the only thing that would be up here would be this, and just a little bit of wire running back towards there. I know it's going to look a lot better, and it's not going to, this stupid wire just sticking out here. And now I kind of feel like I have to do it because I really want to get rid of that wire. Alright, so I guess I'm not quite ready to start sanding yet. I'm going to deal with this, get that taken care of. And then once that's all done, I can go ahead and chuck the sealant on there. So I gotta move this fridge over a bit. I think if I just get that ladder out of the way, I might be able to scooch it over enough to quick pull that through there and then move it right back over, hopefully. I just don't want the wire to end up blocking, because once that's in between where that wood is and where that fridge is, I don't want that to affect too much about where the fridge is sitting. I also don't want it to pinch the wire. Although really, I think it's like way bigger down here, so maybe I'll just drop. No, because then it has to go all the way up above this part, and that's going to be a huge pain. I'm not going to do that. I'll figure it out. I'll update it when I know what I'll do. Okay, so there is that new hole back there. So I went ahead and sanded it a little bit while I had it out there anyway. So I got rid of the kind of like sharper edge that was on here. Not like it was crazy sharp, but just like, the very intense right angle. I kind of smoothed it out a little bit, along with the corners that stick out here. Not that they really stick out, because the fridge is over here and the thing is over here, whatever the hell it is. And then I just went across the top and cleaned up back here, so it's not like scraping along a rough edge there for that wire. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this fridge back in place. Have it already plugged in down there. Get it back in place, put those screws back in there, and then I think it's finally time to get some taping going on here and do some staining, and then okay, so what I had to do down here to get that fridge back into the same position. I had the wire go down here, and then here where there's more of a gap, it runs back. When I had it going just kind of straight back there behind the fridge, it was getting caught between the 2x4 and the fridge. But there's actually a little bit of a gap because I don't know what I'm doing, so there's a gap there, so it fit under there. And then because of the curve of the van, it sticks out further from the floor than it does from up there, so there was a gap there, so I just fed it right through there. Alright, so everything is looking good there. Let's check. Fridge is back up and running. The light's on. Feel that nice cold air coming out, so it's all good. So I'm gonna get that painter's tape out and get that going. And then it'll be time to stain the whole front and side part of this. Okay, so I just want to show this little update here. So the fan has been running for a little while now because it's definitely heating up today. We're supposed to get that rain today, but I guess it's not happening now. I don't know. First it said it was raining all day, then it said it was raining in the afternoon. Now it's been hot and sunny like all day. But it's definitely been running in here for a little while, along with having a fridge and whatever the hell I have going on. I don't know, charging phones and shit. And it turned off now, but on there before it said 100%, so granted it is a like super sunny day and stuff, but even with the probably like the two biggest power things is that fan running all the time and the fridge being here seems to be doing a-okay, 100% charge, so I'm happy about that. So I got the tape here. I'm gonna go ahead and start throwing that on all around everything, and we're gonna do some staining. Okay, so got the fridge unplugged for right now, but that's all taped up. That's the plug for it. Probably can't even tell from what it looks like. Put some tape over this just so I don't have to worry about sealant getting into the sockets there or anything. I don't want to mess it up. And then I just have this tape here because I'm going to be staining this side. And then the tape going all along under here. And then going along where the fridge is here, meeting up with it. Like I said, I'm not really worried about the floor because it's going to be the exact same color stain. I'm not worried about where it meets up with, where is it? This thing, because this is the same stain as well. And then that area back there, I still have to decide what the hell I'm doing with it. I don't know if I'm going to whitewash that to make it match the wall around it, or if I'm putting stain in it. I don't really know. It was kind of just a mistake, like many things in this van. So I don't know what I'm doing with it. I probably end up putting white on it just like to match with all the other wall stuff here. So I don't know, maybe I should throw a little bit of tape on there just to be sure, because that's going to be hard to cover up that stain stuff. So yeah, so I'll throw a bit more tape on there, and then it's going to be time to do staining, all this stuff. I'll probably start with the side, so that way if I do the front, I'm not like, don't have to worry about bumping into it. So I'll do that and then do the front. And like I said, then it's going to be time to do the sealant up here. I'll take all this tape off. And then I also want to do the sealant on the tabletops. Okay, just showing you how far I got here so far. So this is the front. Didn't do anything really over here yet. But here is this edge. I did that. And then going around to the side, so you can see how much of a difference that made. I really am liking this stain a lot, which is good because I use it on like everything in here so far. Yeah, so this stain, this is why I've used anything that's stained in here has been this Varathane Premium Provincial. I don't know. But that, whatever the hell that part is exactly, but I feel like it gives it like a, not a super dark one. The floor is pretty dark because I just took the brush and brushed it on there. I didn't wipe anything at all. So that's why that came out darker than everything else that's stained. But this, I feel like it's like really natural looking, but kind of a little bit of brightness. It's not super dark, but it makes it look a lot better than just like, oh, I took plywood and screwed it into the wall and there it is. It makes it look a bit nicer, classier. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this rest of the front done here. And that'll be it for the staining, and then it's time to break out the sealant. Alright, so this is why I really like doing this paper towel technique. So on the floor, you can basically see, wood grain, kind of. You know, it's pretty dark, but if I actually swept in here after I get done with all this, probably a little bit nicer. But here you can see, I mean, you can see everything going on with the wood, and when there's like spots that are like indented, they don't really get much of any stain on there, so they kind of like stand out. You can see all these different markings and everything. So yeah, so I think it just looks really cool. So that's why I kind of started doing it. I first started kind of learned about it by doing the whitewash, and then I figured let's just try it on other stuff. And yeah, I think this is way better than putting it on heavy with a paintbrush like I did for the floor. I think it looks way nicer. Not that I regret the floor. I think it was, if there's going to be something darker in here, I would rather be the floor at the lowest spot, and then lighter stuff, you know, going up, like white on the ceiling, stuff like that. But I think it looks really cool, so I'm just going to keep on going here and get these doors done. And then, like I said, the sealant, and then I think it'll be time to do some serious cleaning in here. There's just stuff everywhere right now. Just garbage and screws and drill bits, everything, so I definitely want to do some serious cleaning in here. And yeah, and at some point, once I finish that sealant, I really need to remember to plug that fridge back in so it doesn't lose all the cold air that it worked on making for the past day. Okay, so I feel like this video is slowly turning into talking about how awesome staining is, but just look at this and look at that. Not just like the color difference, but here it basically just looks like just flat white, like not much going on. Once you add that stain, you can suddenly see all these lines in the wood, all that grain, all the differentiation and like tone, you know, like the colors in it. That here you really just don't see a lot. You can see like a little bit of difference there, but otherwise it's just like, oh, it's just whatever. It's just all just kind of white. And here all of a sudden you can see all these crazy patterns going on. You can see the difference between these two pieces, even though they're the same wood. Just because of two different pieces, they look so different there. So yeah, I don't know. I just like the way that the staining's turning out. Figure I'd just talk about it more for no reason. Anyway, I'm gonna finish it this last bit, do this whole side, and then it'll be time for the sealant. Okay, so I got more or less cleaned up. I didn't actually do like a full sweep or anything like that. I figure I'll just deal with that like tomorrow or something. For right now, I got the table set up so I can go ahead and do the sealant on that, do the sealant on this, and other than coming back out a little bit later to plug the fridge back in once the sealant is dry, I don't know what else I'm really going to be getting done today. Maybe I'll end up doing a little bit of planning out here, but I want to let this stuff dry. I know it takes a little bit longer. I'm going to be using the brush. I'm not going to do the, you know, the super light kind of thing. I want it to be, you know, a layer of sealant on there like I did on the floor. So yeah, I'm going to grab the sealant and I'll close up the stain. I still have that open over there. So I'm going to close that up, grab that sealant, grab a brush, and get going with this. Okay, so this first one is all done here, or, you know, covered in the sealant stuff, but not dry, obviously. I went ahead and also did like the sides going around. I didn't do that side because it was kind of too close to the other one there. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the back doors, take the sealant over there, do that one, and then I'll try to get in between them and do both of those edges, and then that'll all be done, and then I can go ahead and do this one, and sealant will be done. Alright, so those are both done. I did the middle part, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this. However, I want to throw some tape on over here. Even though the sealant is clear, I still just don't want it getting on the fridge and like leaking down and making weird marks. So I'm going to do that. I already took off the tape over here, so I can go ahead and just do the whole top here. And yeah, and then once it's dry, I can go ahead and take all that tape off and reconnect everything over there. Alright, so that is all done on there. It was a little bit harder to do on this one. I haven't stained just regular plain wood like this before. Every time I did it, oh, no, actually I think I did it on that stuff. I didn't do any stain. But yeah, this was a lot easier to see because it has that little bit of whiteness to it, but it's mostly clear. So on here, I could see that kind of lighter color while I was trying to spread it, and then it becomes more clear. Here, you can't really see it at all. You're just looking to see, like, does it look kind of wet or not. Like, there's not a lot to go by. But as far as I can tell, everything's all covered and should be good. So I'm gonna let everything just sit here for a while and just dry out and let all that smell get out of here. And then, like I said, at some point I gotta come back out here and get that back to being connected. For right now, just clean up this stuff, and I think that will be pretty much it for today. It was definitely an intense 2 days, but I'm happy with all the work that I got done. This cabinet is looking really nice now, even though I wanted to smash the shit out of it earlier today. And the fridge is looking badass. So, yeah, that's it.